Hello, everybody. You guys have a new background? I mean, it's not really new. I've used it before. I just haven't in a while. It's a map because we're talking about world building. So you have my map in the background. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ali and Renie show. And I am hosting for a second time in a row. We have had some difficulties, but fear not, next time we'll hop back over to Ali's channel. Today, we are talking about careers, fantasy careers in your world building and writing, and it's going to be fun. How's everybody? Hello. And hi, Ali.
Hi. There we go. So, some difficulties is a nice way of Renie saying that the YouTube overlords have put me in the gulag for wrong think.
Yes. That seems to happen a lot. Someone has an out for your channel, I swear.
Could be.
No bueno. Yeah, dirty, bitchy behavior. Whoever's doing that. Shame on you. Maybe listen to some different opinions instead of striking other people and being a loser. So, but it's okay. We're here. I'm a little tired today, so I apologize. It just hit me all of a sudden, but we're gonna have a good show. I have my giant mug of coffee. The skull is returning, so this will keep me fueled. Let me say hi to chat real quick. Wait for a few people to come in. Mark DeMuth, hello. Ooh, witchy woman, yes. I mean, neither of us are witches, but I suppose we've got a little bit of a dark aesthetic. We're both fans of that.
They like to say we are, though.
Right.
What were my wrong thoughts? Well, I don't want to get Renie struck, but suffice it to say they were medicinal in nature.
Regarding medicine and medicinal in nature and certain current events. And I'm sure everyone can infer what our overlords might have differing opinions are regarding that. We're not in October. We don't need to be in October. It's October all year round if you're in the spirit for it.
The spirit. Speaking of October, check this out. The chat might know what this is. You won't know what this is, but the chat might know what this is.
I won't.
Ooh, look at my new earrings.
What is that? I don't know what that is. You're right. I have no idea. Okay. I'm culturally illiterate. Once again.
Typo negative earrings.
Oh! What is that?
A band.
Oh, okay. Is this a band? Okay. Anyways, I don't know anything, Honey Berry. Hello.
Oh, wait. I do have something you will know. Look what I just got. Oh, I gotta shut that. Look what I just got in the mail.
Ooh. Oh, cool.
Friggin' second edition.
That is nice. That title text needs better designing. That's illegible. Yeah. Bad design.
I think it's supposed to look like it's on marble, like a grave.
You can have it on marble on a grave and have it read better than that.
I think this came out in like 1990 something.
Okay. Anyhow.
1992.
Okay. Guess that's an excuse for them.
Not an excuse, an explanation.
An explanation, correct. Well, interesting. I don't even have any of those books. I just worked on the game that never came out. This one. Did you guys know that? I worked on the Vampire the Masquerade game.
I didn't know.
That never came out. Yeah. But it was a long time ago.
Why didn't it come out?
It's overrated. Because it was just stuck in development hell. It's just one of those things where a lot of games. It happens to a lot of games. They get stuck in development hell. They spin in circles. They change. There's too many leadership changes, and eventually they just pull funding and give up. It happens a lot. Yeah, it was very briefly. It was an internship, but it was fun.
They're saying that book is older than you. No, it's not. She's not that young.
No, I'm old. I'm an old bitch.
We were born in the 80s, thank you.
Yeah, I was technically born in right at the end of the 80s. So I am an old hag, but I'm very flattered that some people think I'm not that old. DJ Nisha, hello.
Let's say hi to the chat, and then I can present you with my slides for this week.
Ali has slides again.
And you can see if you like them.
I will. I'm sure I'll like them. I'm so excited. Ali once going to show us what actually putting effort into streaming is like, and I will be shamed, even though that's not her intention. Horror One, hello. I think I've said most people. Snafu, hello. We got a few more people in here. Got a super chat already. Tatsu-sama for I don't know that currency, but thank you for 2-something. Yo, hello Tatsu-sama. Thank you very much for the super chat. Renie ain't old. I'm oldish. Oh, Snuggy, hello, hi. I saw Martin May in there earlier. Reese M is there. Thank you all for joining us. And Don Ranger Power. You're in enterprising mood. Good.
Tatsu-sama says they're Swiss francs.
Swiss francs. Interesting. Oh, I did not know that currency abbreviation. Well, thank you for that super chat. Before we get started, real quick, if everyone could give this stream a like, because we always have awesome discussions about world building and writing and all kinds of good stuff like that, especially geared towards fantasy. It's going to be a great show, so hit like, please. And we have the links to all our projects in the description. I have a fantasy comic, a fantasy mystery called Fiendish, and Ali has several projects. She has a cooking comedy comic that is currently live and crowdfunding called Egg Beater. A baking comedy comic. I said that right. Yes. That is live on Indiegogo. So the link to that should either be in the description
it is,
or someone can please drop it.
In demand on Indiegogo.
In demand, yes. So let's
funding and everything.
Awesome. Yeah. We would much appreciate everyone checking it out. Thank you for the links, Maromi. And I suppose let's get started.
Yeah. All right. Pulling it up.
It's edumacated.
It's gonna be funny because we were like, we're not witches, but like then the slides that I chose are maybe not that.
Are they like, wait, oh, I see the slides in the background now. Well, okay, listen. There's the difference between liking dark looking things and just being a straight up witch, okay? I'll have you know I'm actually a very cuddly, soft, and kind person. Y'all don't understand. Totally innocent. The Horror One, Ellie, is your writings available on Amazon? It is, right?
A couple of them are, but mostly they're on my Etsy store. So if they're cheaper on my Etsy store as well.
Okay.
I think the one that's on Amazon right now is the children's drawing prompt book. And
do you have a? I don't think I've seen your Etsy store or have a link to it.
I have a bunch of new awesome stuff coming out in the next couple weeks on my Etsy store. I'm doing like a whole thing. Pumpkins. I have to stop my camera for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Diablo Solo for 10. Thank you so much. I'm considering calling your cover for my book the Tony Tsuzosuba variant edition winner. What do you think? I don't think you should do that. That would. Okay, please don't do that. That would make me feel very unprofessional. Also, I mean, I would rather not have a swear word as my variant title.
What's up, Abba Jehovah Reigns? I've seen you before in my chat. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Well, thank you for the super chat, Travis. I appreciate it. What's Abba? Oh, hello. Hi. Shalom. Hi.
All right.
Looks can be deceiving. Yes. All right. Let's pull this up. Pew. Oh, translate. It was a curse word that I taught Travis. So all I need to know is that's a Chinese curse word. Yeah. Characters' careers in building worlds. The cute little skull. It's adorable.
Isn't he cute? I gave him a little hat.
It is very cute. I love it. Just want to cuddle him.
I
Cuddle the
know.
little skull.
Except for that his teeth are yellow.
That is very gross.
It's
not cute anymore. I disavow this.
So yeah. We're not witches. we just can create magic with our fingers.
Sure.
With writing and drawing.
Yeah. Well, not me. Only Ali.
What?
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's not true.
I just draw and stuff happens. Apparently, people want to pay me for it. It's amazing.
All right. Slide
oh
one.
My
Look.
God, it's even animated! Ah, it's so cute! Yay! I'm happy. You use like Canva, right?
Huh?
You use like Canva.
No.
Okay. All right. It's a secret. I don't know. I want to figure out how to make nice slides and stuff. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All
right. Yeah. So basically, it's pretty obvious when we say like character careers, what jobs do the characters do, if they do any, because not having a job can be just as much part of the character as having a job. Anyway, but why is it important? Well, jobs can give the world overall more depth and realism. If you have like a world where no one does anything, but everything still runs smoothly, people are going to be like, what is this strange, like, commie utopia that cannot exist? Or is it heaven? Like, so that can be different.
Yeah, that is kind of what bothers me about some fantasy out there that is built off of more like, it feels like they're drawing an actual D&D campaign, but it feels like it's actually a D&D campaign, and it's just unrealistic because there's all these things you have to do for survival, and it's like you have to think about how the society at large works and what careers people have, and it doesn't really work. And a lot of anime are like that as well, like the more basic fantasy ones. So I agree, it kind of can pull you out of the story if it's not
for a younger anime. You could say like, being a student is sort of their career, but on the side, mostly what they do is fight like intergalactic criminals. And that's their job.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of, we just adventure, but how do you make money? Oh, bounties. Okay. All right. I guess that works.
There's a lot of that.
I'm like,
how do they make money in Pokemon?
No idea.
Do they pimp out their animals?
It's a mystery. So, chat, how do they actually make money in Pokemon? Are they just like, is this ever addressed? Because when I was like 10 and watched Pokemon, I never thought of that, because of course I wouldn't.
I know in like Cowboy Bebop, money is like this constant issue, and they have to like do all these, side quest things.
Oh yeah, they're always broke.
Cowboy Bebop too, but actually what I was talking about was Outlaw Star. But yeah, both.
Yeah, both. But because it's written for an older audience, where it's like if they just waltzed around and they never, they're just hunting bounties, and the adult audience would be like, this is unrealistic.
Your chat is like, animal testing, human butchers.
Oh no.
They trap the children and sell them into slavery.
You win matches, sure.
Do you get cash prizes? Outlaw Star is better, it's true.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. The music in Cowboy Bebop is better, obviously.
Okay.
But I think Outlaw Star is a better show.
Okay. Kuro's Comics. Let me answer this real quick. I know 2-page spread in Fiendish too. I have been avoiding doing 2-page spreads just because, ever since book 1, because I was considering a digital release when I first started Fiendish, and it's annoying when a digital release scrolls down or it scrolls out. Anyways, you wanted to fit on like a tablet screen, right? So I was avoiding 2-page spreads. But now I don't think I've tailored this book for print, so I will be doing 2-page spreads going forward. All right, continue. Sorry.
Well, careers. We're gonna go over how they can influence the plot and character development and the story's overall atmosphere. And look at that fun little candle.
Yeah, it is a fun little candle. It was the cutest little candle ever.
This is what happens when Rainey's sleepy. She's like, yes, Allie, all of the things you do are amazing.
I always say that. Moves. Wow. I swear I'm not drunk, guys. I'm just tired.
All right. So obviously I have just some rudimentary examples, but there's so many examples that I didn't feel the need to like do a bunch of book stuff like I did last time, because I'm sure we can come up with things. So setting, obviously important in any story, where the character's job ought to align with where the story takes place. I've got some examples that are really rudimentary, where like in a medieval fantasy world, you would need blacksmiths, you would need knights, you would need farmers, like, all the stuff, like shipmates. But then also, you've got a spaceship where you need technicians and scientists, and or even in a world where people are making dinosaurs, you need chaoticians and stuff.
Chaoticians? Wow.
Yeah, like in Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum's character, he calls himself a chaotician.
Oh, that's right. Oh, hey, get in the chat. Hello.
And then I just had, like, in a modern city, a delivery man or a politician. And when I was doing that, I was like, wow, fucking modern life is boring as fuck.
Yeah, these are things you should think about. Well, I think if it can add a lot of believability to your story with it's just like how we've spoken about how theme and your character's motivation should tie into the world building. It's like everything should be cohesive and work together, and that creates a feel, for lack of a better term, or just a cohesiveness and immersion for your world building. Careers can tie into that as well. So the way I guess I put it is commit, if that makes sense. But that's kind of what I tell myself, where you can have a simple idea, and honestly with story, you want to have a simple idea or a simple character plot, but the world building should be complex. That's sort of the general rule, at least the way I learned it. And but if everything ties in together, then it's understandable. And the goal with storytelling is always immersion. So having careers that work with, like, the theme of my world is everything is really bloody and dark, so the careers are all like that, or the opposite. It's good. That made no sense.
Well, like something related to a bloody world, where, like, if you're watching Repo the Genetic Opera, it's all about a man whose job it is to repossess organs from people that they have purchased. So, that's a totally made up job that fits that world specifically. That sort of deal. Or in another dystopia, you could say, like in 1984, the guy's job is to, edit history, throw things down the memory hole. And that fits their setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, what else would... my brain is mush. Well, in Dune, I guess the main characters, everything is like kind of tied to melange, because melange is just this magical substance. But the fact that melange strengthens mental abilities and all this kind of stuff, and Paul and a bunch of the main characters are specifically being trained to be like these mental superhumans that ties things into the world building, because it's sort of a commentary on power and all that stuff, and stuff like spice harvesting as to the immersion of Arrakis.
Yeah, and Paul Atreides, he kind of had two careers. He's the nobleman and he's the Kwisatz Haderach. So
yeah,
and that's like, a noble's son, to a prophesized leader, and it goes through all these super boring themes of politics and religion and power and stuff.
I take it you don't like Dune.
I'm not a fan of Dune.
Oh, okay.
I like the old. Is he a Mentat too, Scootran? Okay. I didn't know. Is Paul a Mentat? Doesn't that mean his lips would have to be all fucked up?
He was being trained to be a Mentat, and then his house fell and stuff. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he like coked down on a bunch of spice, so he's pretty much, he is a Mentat. Just
okay.
One of those. He didn't have a traditional training, I guess you would say.
I don't think it's a hand in the moon, isn't it? The mouse shadow in the moon. Muad'Dib. My name is a killing sound, a killing word. I like the Ben and Gesserit have the job of witch Kabbalist. I like the old movie. The new movie sucks butt, and the books are boring.
I like Dune. I thought it was cool. It's more like the books are a bit of a slow read, definitely. But I listened to it through audiobooks. I guess I made it better. I didn't feel like it was slow. I thought it was very innovative to have this idea of the powers, the superpowers that people have come from the human mind. And I thought I hadn't seen that before, at least for, maybe it's just my ignorance with earlier literature, but I thought that was interesting. And at least in science fiction, I've seen that in fantasy, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, they're in space, but they're like, psychics, like mental psychics and stuff.
Awesome One says, Dune was fun until Paul became a worm. That was dumb. Yeah. And the second I saw that on one of the books, I was like, I have no interest in reading this. That freaking worm has the tiny little face of a dude on the end of it. What the fuck?
That's true. I like the beginning. I guess I'd start reading after a while. So but the beginning, the setup is cool.
Well, and I mean, or if we want to go, darker to what I usually talk about, there's also, in Interview with a Vampire and stuff like that. Like, they're vampires who sometimes are actors or, slave owners or rock stars or painters who have like a little, harem of teenage boys, like, stuff like that fits into the setting of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you brought up a few interesting points. How a career doesn't have to be, well, you work for someone, like what's your 9-to-5 job, or are you a farmer or a butcher? It could be your, like, a royal lineage is a career. It could be stuff like being a bounty hunter. It could be being a regular hunter. It could be all kinds of other things. It's just what is a person's primary purpose or primary function in society.
Downwheel Solo said, what sci-fi series do I think aren't butt sucks? I love sci-fi. It's my favorite genre, and I prefer reading sci-fi to watching sci-fi because it's almost always done very poorly. Case in point, Ender's Game is my absolute favorite sci-fi book series next to Animorphs. However, the movie sucks. Like, it's just, it's ass. It's just ass.
It offends her.
It is offensive. Yes. Somebody else. Ali, did you say you like Dune 1984, or are you talking about the miniseries? I like Dune 1984. The new movie was very boring.
I liked
I I kept falling asleep. I don't like that actor, Timothy Chalamet, or whatever his pretentious ass name is. Like,
Very French.
I find him very annoying. He just has an annoying face. He's slappable, is what it is.
Oh my
like,
god. I thought it was fine.
I
would
want to
normally
break his nose.
Oh my god. I would normally not watch anything with him as a lead, but
Oh my god.
it's like Paul's 15, so that works out well.
So Sting made that movie for me. Do you know? Okay, do you want to know something about the old Dune movie? Okay, Sting was supposed to be naked in that scene. All right, and guess what? At the last minute, the freaking studio was like, "We can't have nudity in our sci-fi." So they found like a piece of the set from some other movie and just like strapped it on him. So that's why he's wearing that gay ass freaking like blue, I don't know, swimsuit thing. So yeah, I'm mad at the studio because guess what I missed seeing? I don't get to see what
sorry for
Sting's dick looked like. What is up with that? Freaking killjoys, man.
They are.
Yeah, the blue cod piece. Ridiculous. Freaking Sting. Stand close to me. I want to know. Ellie, control yourself. No.
We can't.
Shan't.
Have you seen either of our channels? There is no controlling yourselves.
Sting
John is nodding out. Let's drink some coffee. I'm drinking. I'm
Sting Stinger. Oh my god, you guys. Depressing. It is depressing not to have seen that. It totally ruins everything. I have the special edition of that came in like a metal box and everything, and I wish that things had been different. But not even Jason Momoa can fix the new one for me. Do you want to know primarily why? When I wasn't bored to tears and falling asleep, all of a sudden I would hear and I was like, the fuck? Like, I can't stand the like desert woman shrieking because everything else is so low volume, and then all of a sudden in some fucking Mongolian screaming in my face. I was like, the fuck? I'm not a fan. And I know you like the weird noises and stuff, but I just can't do it.
I like weird noises in what the Fremen were doing in Dune. I liked how moody it was. Okay, the one part that I didn't like was fucking Zendaya. Why isn't Zendaya in fucking everything? Fucking somebody tell me why. She's not a brilliant actress. She's not. I'm sorry. She doesn't even look like Chani. I'm so glad at least they kept Jessica a redhead and looking like the way she does in the books. Yes, Jessica was a redhead in the books. Guess who else was a redhead? Chani is also a redhead in the books. Guess what they did? It's Hollywood.
The gender side.
Yeah. I was like, oh, of course it's there. It's like just because they're Fremen and a lot of them they're supposed to be more tan. It's like, but you can't have, Chani is supposed to. There's variation, and they have to make Chani not look the way she does in the books. It's very fucking annoying. But I just don't think Zendaya is a great actress. She's not charismatic. I don't know. She kind of she almost ruined it for me. Everything else, it was great. I like calmer, slower movies. I felt like it was so different than what Hollywood was doing. And maybe it's as someone who liked the books. I guess if you didn't read the books, you might have struggled with understanding something. So I understand that criticism. But fucking Zendaya, her boring ass face. She looks like she's falling asleep all the damn time.
I think she's a very real example of how the Disney casting couch system works. Because she came from the Disney Channel as a child actress. And even though she's like completely talentless and blank,
she's so blank, yeah.
Fucking everything. So I'm not saying anything, but I'm kind of saying something.
Right. Oh God, maybe we don't know, but knowing
we don't
Disney,
know.
I hope that's not true. Yes, that's what I heard too. Chani is apparently narrating part 2, not Irulan. Because, Zendaya should be held up on a fucking pedestal, I guess. That's how things work over here. Around them parts, around Hollywood now. It just annoys me. Yeah, it is
This is getting dark real quick.
It's not that dark. Everybody knows about that shit, but we can get back on track.
Confirmed by ALI. Look, I don't know, but like pretty much everybody has known.
There's so many people that have come out and said so who have been in Hollywood, so.
Yeah. Like the two Coreys, for example.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on. Whoosh. To careers as reflective devices. So a character's job can show what they believe in, what they want to achieve, and how they see the world. So I just have 2 examples, but I'm sure we can think of tons more. A detective's job reflects their analytical mind and their determination, or a fisherman's job reflects their happiness and solitude and industriousness.
Great examples. Wow.
So let's see. We could go on with Dune, like the nasty gross Duke Harkonnen. His job as like a Duke reflects his love of power, and his like creepy, that's not how I want to word that. His love and abuse of power.
Right. Yeah, I would almost my mind is like having trouble thinking of some things as a job. It could just be the character's role, I suppose.
Yeah.
Role in society. That makes sense. Yeah. Sort of the role and career you assign to a character could exemplify their character as well. I definitely put a lot of thought into that for me. It's almost just, it seems, if you really think about who your characters are and write out their backgrounds, and if you've been really thorough with your storytelling, then you should know everything about your characters, even so it doesn't show up in the story. Sort of as you should know them better than what is revealed to the audience. So with my characters, their careers or their jobs kind of were a given, and they're definitely integral. Like Casimir is a hunter, and that ties into this whole idea that he's taking the lead in hunting down these demons, and also he has this past of being the sole survivor of demon attack. So he's like supposed to be the one person that is set in a prime position to uncover where the demons come from. And Ragna's arc is more about power as well, but a different way. It's more about she gave up love and her personal, sort of like more private personal fulfillment in exchange for a career and for power. So she covets, and this isn't too spoilery, it's already on her character profile. She wants to be like a high-ranking shaman, and she's willing to like sacrifice everything for it. So that career she's gunning for informs how she acts and why she's uncaring towards other people and towards her relationships.
Yeah. That is well put. What? What'd you say?
No, I said I try.
Oh, okay. Well, you won. Well, there's like we could even do Bilbo Baggins, or no, let me do one better. Samwise Gamgee, he's a gardener. That reflects like his desire to care for things and preserve life. Which is a constant for him throughout the whole book. You could make a case for a comparison of Frodo being this dying garden that sorry,
my doggo.
My dog, yeah. That kind of Samwise has to has to tend to, so that it doesn't, die.
Yeah, that's a good example. I think like in most really good work, somebody mentioned Homer Simpson was a safety inspector. Well, when it comes to comedy, this stuff goes out the window. It's almost ironic. Somebody who's assigned a job like Homer's is like he is the last person you want to be a safety inspector, but it's a comedy, so that's why that's his job. But that accentuates the comedy as well, so it makes sense in that framing.
Yeah, because he doesn't really do any safety inspecting. He just like sleeps all day while he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it shows how lazy and unsafe that it is.
yeah, yeah. I am the anime person, so I'll bring up the anime manga example, and I will not go to Berserk or Vinland Saga because that's kind of a given. All right, it's like
Do it.
Vinland Saga is about mercenaries and Vikings, and the main character is a son of a mercenary, famous mercenary and Viking, and he's surrounded by mercenaries and Vikings. So, okay, that's just the world they're in, and almost everybody is some kind of warrior or mercenary. And in Berserk, the main character was a mercenary, and then because of a wrong that was done to him, and because he wanted to pursue vengeance, it was just almost he was forced into the role. Not to spoil too much, but he has to fight demons, so he became a demon fighter. And on his road to fighting these demons, he's trying to get vengeance against the greatest demon of all, which is Femto. So those are technically the careers of Guts and Thorfinn. But a series I don't bring up enough that I actually really, really love is Full Metal Alchemist, which is an amazing, amazing series. And I guess I don't bring it up. It's older, but it's seriously brilliant. It's written very, very deeply for something that's for a primarily teenage audience. Like if you read the manga as well, the manga is darker than the anime. I would suggest reading the manga. But the among the themes of Full Metal Alchemist are state power, certain moral debates, like what is the main characters. The premise is they committed this sort of taboo sin by trying to bring a person they loved who died back to life, and there's sort of this constant moral debate of like the price that should be paid and why that is wrong, and that's proven over and over again, and moral and ethical questions like experimenting on human bodies for the pursuit of power and alchemical excellence. In the world of FMA, it's diesel punk, but there's also the general like feel of the world is diesel punk, like mid-century Europe, but the magic system, quote unquote, is this science called alchemy, and it's kind of like they cast spells, but they call it alchemy. They study for it. I was inspired by that for Fiendish. That's why rune casting is something you have to like study for and like write equations for. But the main characters are Edward and Alphonse. They're prodigies at alchemy, but they're very young, but they became state alchemists they basically sold themselves. They gave up their freedom to the state, to the government, and they're forced to do the government's bidding in return for because they wanted this power. They're in search of this thing called the Philosopher's Stone to like fix this great mistake and make up for this taboo they did. They like lost some limbs and stuff, so they're trying to find a way to like fix their bodies. So but in sort of giving up their freedom to the state, they find out about all these dark secrets and all these like dirty things within the government, and it's slowly revealed throughout the story. And that like all of these things tie together, and the main characters are in a prime position to uncover all of these plot points that are essential to the themes of the work because of their position as state alchemists, and all the themes such as government corruption and all of these, and moral questions like human experimentation. So fucking read Full Metal Alchemist. It's really good.
Fucking read Full Metal Alchemist. Somebody mentioned Death Note as well, and that in itself is a job. They would need, I don't remember if they have to have jobs in addition to being like the owners of a Death Note. But like that in itself is a job that they do.
Yeah,
And
it's very interesting.
for some of them it reflects their desire for justice.
Mhm. Yeah, Death Note is interesting. It's almost like the primary job of Light and everybody who had a Death Note was as the bearer of the Death Note, but all the other jobs they had, like student or detective, that was a front. That was like a fake vocation, right?
Yeah. Or if we want to even go into more realistic fiction, there's stuff like American Psycho, where the main character, Patrick Bateman, is like a wealthy investment banker. And that reflects his sadism and materialism in this, kind of like literally cutthroat 80s yuppie culture that happens in that movie and that book. The book is better, but people like watching Christian Bale.
People do like watching Christian Bale. Hutzel, hello. I met up with Hutzel. He's an old friend. It was
All
great
right.
to catch up with you.
Next.
Oh, let me catch a couple of super chats. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. We'll go back.
Un momento.
Now let's
Long
do
with
some
Victor.
super
Yeah, super chat break. Long with Victor for $2. You know Micro Suyen or J Anacletos art style? No, I have never heard of these people. Oh, Miko Suyen or J Anacletos? I don't. But thank you for the $2. Long live Victor for another $2. Homeless today are like D&D but less interesting. What, homeless people today?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're like, I'm a bard, but it's really just I sit on the side of the road and you throw money at me when I croon.
I guess our society is so spoiled that you can be homeless and just have stuff given to you and you just live like you're in a D&D module and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You don't have to take responsibility for yourself. Not all homeless people, I understand.
Life on easy mode.
So I know some people.
Homeless people in not all of Hawaii, but a good amount of Hawaii, they have life on really easy mode.
Yeah.
Like you can live on the beaches legally there because no one is allowed to own any of them. Like not even the government. It's like the Hawaiian people. And there's, fruit that grows on all the trees. There's fucking chickens everywhere. And they encourage you to eat the chickens because they're basically like a huge nuisance, so they're just like, hey, everybody go eat a chicken today, like go catch and eat a chicken.
You don't need a job, you don't need a house, just go live on the beach and
right,
eat fruit. Oh my god.
And it's so temperate. There are no mosquitoes just because of how the wind goes down there. No one wears shoes already. Like if you live in Hawaii and you're wearing shoes and not like barefoot or slippers, which are what they call flip-flops, then they know that you're like a tourist or a prostitute or in the military. So
weird.
It's super easy to just be homeless and live on the beach in Hawaii. Like I know somebody who I moved back from Hawaii and I told him about it, and his parents like funded his life. He was a trust fund baby. And he just flew there, and that's where he lives now. He lives on the beach. Like he is penniless, even though like he's not. If he needs something, he can just call his parents. Like it's fucking ridiculous. There are so many people like that. And the people who are homeless down there that aren't trust fund babies, every time someone has a luau on the beach, everyone drops their bottles and their cans all over because they're like, oh, the homeless people come along and pick them up and sell them because they get like 10 cents more down there. It was horrific when I went down there and I went to one. I was like, why is everyone throwing their trash on the ground? Like my heart was stopping because I grew up in Colorado where it's like a big deal to litter. And they're just like, oh no, it's okay because the homeless people come by. Like it's our economy. And I was like,
that's weird.
fucking weird. Okay,
Hawaii is just like a different fucking country. It sounds like
dude,
sometimes.
island mentality is a real thing. Like,
Yes, island brain is a thing. Like,
mm,
island brain kind of breaks people and makes them really weird. A
yeah.
little complacent, I must say.
Looking at you, New Zealand.
Temperate, like easy life islands, not like fucking Iceland, you know.
Oh yeah, that's not even the same.
No, it's not.
Yeah, do some more of your things.
I shall. Long live Victor for another $2. Thank you. Score meth, work on bicycle, haul trash home. Well, that was very prescient because he said
Modern
that
careers.
quite a while ago. But yeah, we weren't talking about homelessness, I suppose. Score meth, work on bicycle, haul trash home, or I'm not sure. Is that? I guess that could be certain people I see around Atlanta loitering under the highways. Johnson Justice, hi Jonathan, for $2. Thank you.
sounding real thirsty for Sting's Desert Rose. LA. Absolutely. I don't care how old he or bald he is. I'll always love Sting.
All women. Yeah, some men can pull off the bald, and I think most women wouldn't mind his, sing his Desert Rose. Okay, let's move on. Angry Liquid for $5, thank you. Probably been asked, but do we have a release window for Fiendish 3? Keep up the great work. Love both books. Thank you so much. The next campaign is actually going to be 2.5, which I said I'm going to launch this month, and now I'm buried under work, and I'm going to launch it, but I don't know. I'm like, well, I have a trailer. Probably won't have a trailer right away, but I will launch it, and it's 2.5 is, I have a update I have a post in the community tab if you want to read more about what 2.5 is. It's essentially a supplemental to the main series, but that is a shorter campaign. I'll run that until February, I think, and Fiendish 3 will launch March or April. That's my plan. So yeah, I want to give myself a bit of a buffer between both, because 3 is going to be a complex story. There's a lot I have to work in, and I want to do my best to level up in my art and my storytelling. So I want to spend some extra time on it. Yeah, I'm leveling up. So that's what. So March or April is the answer. Thank you very much. Oh, I got more super chats. Oh my gosh, thank you guys. Reese M for $5, thank you. Have either of you seen the One Piece live action? If so, thoughts? I have not.
I've seen some reviews of it, of the first episode, but I don't have plans to watch it. I'm not really a huge fan of the anime. Like, the song was fun, I guess, but like I just mainly thought it was silly. I mean, I think it came out right around the time that Pirates of the Caribbean came around, and I was just way more into that kind of thing. I've never been a huge fan of that style of animation. I hate their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Hate their eyes.
Big, giant, gaping eyes.
I like the Vampire Hunter D like style. You know, I can only barely stand the Studio Ghibli stuff, just because everything else is really beautiful. He just, for some reason, like, doesn't give a shit about his characters' faces at all. So it's just like, like,
they're cute. He does have very cutesy face design, though. No, I haven't. Cute. I'm not. I think they are.
I probably won't watch it. I might pirate it if people want to know what I think about it, but I don't pay for like anything anymore.
But pirate. I might check it out. That's a lie, because I'm not going to. I don't have time.
Take what you can, give nothing back. One of these days, I'll somehow get up there and I'll just like kidnap you in your own house and just like tie you down and make you like on a chair and just make you watch like every TV thing and just be like, there. Now everyone can stop making. Yeah, now everyone can stop making fun of Renie for being lucky enough to not be completely broken by pop culture.
And you can break me into pop culture, and now I can be just as depressed as the rest of America.
Yeah, exactly. Is that what you guys want? Is that will that make you happy?
Douglas for 5. Thank you. Looking for something new to read? Have either of you read GTO? I have. I fucking love GTO so fucking much in high school. That was. Oh my god. GTO is fucking funny. Great teacher Onizuka. There's an anime, but anime looks like shit. The manga is actually not badly drawn. It's okay. It's and it's not like cutesy manga style either. So it's a little more realistic, from what I recall. So people might be a little more open to it if you don't like the cutesy moe anime style. The premise is this teacher who's basically, he's like a gangster but with a heart of gold, and he was desperate for a job, so he somehow became a high school teacher, but at this like school with a bunch of rich kids, but a lot of like a lot of just not delinquency, but like social problems. It's like everybody was backstabbing everybody. There's tons of history, like all these kids have fucking issues, and he's sort of like this gangstery character who is like, he's like tough enough to, it's a comedy, by the way. So it's hilarious because he's kind of an idiot, but also he has like that kind of, how'd you put it? That gusto or like street smarts to help out all these kids that the teachers at the school don't know what to do with. I would put it that way. And it was really good. I loved it.
Nice. Well, yeah, I've never even heard of it, so no.
Yeah, it was definitely the early 2000s. I don't think it really came to the US, but I would suggest it. All right, I'm caught up on super chats. Thank you all so much.
Woo!
Woo!
Thanks everyone for her super chats.
Oh wait, Long Live Victor for another one, another $2. Thank you. Renie could be a cult leader. Kind of already is. I'm not a cult leader. I don't want to be. It's weird.
What are her followers called?
You can follow the Cult of Fiendish, and that's all. Please don't follow the Cult of
Are they called renal retentives?
Why? Why? Oh no.
I'm very sorry.
I'll never forgive you for that. Please, everybody forget about that. Hi, Dean.
Hello, Dean.
I didn't say it. Dago Solo did. I would.
Raintards. That's even better.
Never call you guys that. I love all of it.
We've already bought the robes and everything. They are saying. Rainy Rangers. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's cute.
I like that one actually.
Okay.
Rainy Rangers.
Okay. All right, let's move on. It's getting weird.
Like, stop making me a cult leader, Allie. I'm very uncomfortable.
Very.
Yes. Speaking of discomfort, conflicts. Careers can create conflicts, and as everyone knows, as we've discussed before, conflict is one of the best ways to move a story forward and create character growth. So my example was a doctor torn between saving lives and breaking ethical boundaries. There's been a lot of those, but like most people will be like, oh, it's House, but I mean, there could be Doctor Strange thrown in there. But conflicts like, say a slave owner who starts like suddenly seeing his slaves not as, chattel, like that's a conflict. They have to square with that. What else? Maybe a nobleman who has suddenly seen that the regime that he is a part of is no longer, what would you? Is no longer looking out for the best interest of, like, the little guy.
Yeah.
Or ever was, even.
Yeah, definitely. There's very little I can say about my work without spoiling, but it's not about my work. I think, well, when you mentioned the doctor thing, I thought of Monster, which is another very good manga that I think Westerners would also like. And the core conflict is, the setup is great. The story is actually about a doctor who saves the life of a little boy who was in this who survived like his parents being gunned down, but then he saves the life of this boy, but then it later comes out it was actually this little 10-year-old boy that did it. And it's not super spoiler. You find out pretty soon because the rest of the majority of the series is about this doctor feeling like he's guilty for saving the life of this boy because the boy turned out to be a total psycho and a murderer and goes on to commit a bunch of more crimes. And it's great villain, by the way. And so he feels like he has to atone for what he did, but he struggles with how exactly to do that. And that's a great moral setup.
Yeah. So there
he
you go.
saved the boy instead of a politician. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So he kind of like ruined his own career, and like his fiance left him because she was like the daughter of she was like the daughter of, what was it, like some like rich girl. So he kind of ruined his life because he's like, I'm going to pick the little boy who needs saving over this famous politician, ruin his career. And then it turns out the little boy is a psycho killer. Interesting moral questions.
People are saying you should call your followers fiends.
I can do that. Hi, fiends. How are you doing? I like that.
Joseph saying Jekyll and Hyde is a classic conflict. Is that a career conflict, though?
I wouldn't necessarily say so. I don't, because that's just something that happens to him. That's not just what he does for a living.
Yeah.
What's wrong with society.
If we want to move into more contemporary stuff, like that's a theme of like more realistic fiction where like The Devil Wears Prada, you know, she's the main character has a conflict where does she really want to move up in her career, or does she want to, you know, kind of stay where she is? You know, what is the price of being, you know, the assistant or even the editor in a system like, you know, modern fashion, and what are the challenges of balancing career aspirations with the personal life of, you know, the modern woman. So there's stuff like that.
Oh, it was actually a good movie.
Yeah, isn't it weird? Like that and Legally Blonde.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You what?
I haven't seen that. That's good.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like, it's so weird. It sounds stupid as fuck, but like it's actually a really good movie in its own right. And it's not like, she's one of the only chicks that can play like a blonde, you know, and not be annoying. Like, you don't want to smack her. You're just like, you know, I like her, you know, she means well, she works hard, you know, she wants what she wants. Like, I've even met guys who are like, yeah, that movie's fine. Like, I really like Legally Blonde, as lame as it sounds.
Yeah, I think it sounded lame, so I never watched it.
Well, they have it set up to where she was the only person who could possibly have won the case that she works on, because no one else knew this like one thing that she knew specifically, because her personality was, oh, I go get my hair done and go shopping and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it was perfect. And you see like she even knows like the chemical like compounds of why things are working the way they are in like a perm. So it was done really well. It was like, okay, just because, you know, you're this doesn't mean that you don't know everything that you do well. You don't have to know everything about everything to do something well if you really want to. So Reese without her spoon.
Reese without her spoon.
That's funny. Not laughing, but it's funny.
Was she? She played?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Maybe I don't know. Well, I have like a million other things to watch. So.
If you ever have a desire to sit down and watch something and just kind of turn your brain off about it, then
okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Alicia Silverstone also. A female Pee Wee Herman. What? I don't see that. But anyway, let's go on. Career as plot advancement. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but where the character's profession can drive the the plot forward. Where you're
it's okay, we're all tired.
Yeah. You're an explorer in the jungle looking for lost treasures. That's a common one. A knight going on an epic quest. We have friends writing Arthurian fiction. Or a doctor building a new humanoid, Dr. Frankenstein. That advances the plot.
Yeah, I would say, would you agree that career as plot advancement is most common, but career as plot conflict, as in the example you gave before, you establish a career for a character that advances the plot, but then you put in a conflict. It's almost like you push the character development. It's a great way to push the character development to another level, and it just occurred to me. I think a lot of superheroes have that conflict, right? For example, Batman being pushed to question. He has his rule don't kill, but he's pushed over and over again on that moral point, and a bunch of other superheroes as well. Like, how far are they willing to go in the name of justice? So it's almost like this is this next level to establishing a character that has a job or a role that is plot relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. An aviator saying art career as plot advancement mostly for antagonist. I don't know. If you're a mad scientist who wants to become a scientist, that's gonna advance the plot, and you could be a protagonist. Wait, I'm saying that backwards. If you're a scientist who wants to become a doctor of something.
Yeah, career as plot advancement mostly.
Correct. Scratch that. Reverse whatever I said. Maruromi is right though. Invisible Man is a good example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kuro's comic says Luke as a Jedi. Yeah, that is absolutely plot advancement. And even I know nobody here likes Harry Potter, but that's a very basic example of, that's his career as a magic student. That's clearly plot advancement as he continues on his magic student career. And of course, I don't want to keep shilling my thing, but that's pretty obvious with Fiendish, with Casimir being a hunter that drives the plot of Fiendish forward. He is built to be the one person that can drive the plot forward, especially at the early stages. So, it's good to have a main character like that.
In Rotting Crown, there's the stepping down of career that advances the plot. So, my wizard, he sees that the queen that he's serving is an evil person who uses others, and he doesn't like that. So he steps down. He loses his career to go and basically become a wanderer who is putting together this group of soldiers so that he can, go and he can bring them and fight the queen and bring her down. So you can move up in your career as advancing the plot, or you can have them lose career as advancing the plot. American Beauty. That's another one that has career advancing the plot that's more modern, where he's he's a busy, businessman who starts being disenchanted from it. And so he just stops working at, the office where he is and just goes and works fast food, and then spends the rest of his time smoking pot and working out. And that's how his character starts to grow and appreciate the life around him more. There's tons of ways to do it. House of Cards, I've never seen that.
a bunch of examples just came to my mind. But if you have you guys seen, I don't know if this matches exactly, but if you guys have seen the Korean movie Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring, which is actually really good. It's there's this it's like the cyclical story of a Buddhist monk that lives in this temple in the middle of a lake. It's very remote, and one day this little baby is given to him to raise, and the mother, spoilers, I guess, the mother dies, and the baby is just given up to him to raise. But the child grows up and eventually craves the outside world, and like you should still watch it. Like the plot is very basic, but it's done so beautifully that you should watch it. The child grows up and it's sort of this commentary on, well, the kid wants to see the outside world, so he leaves the temple. And in Asia, there are a lot of stories like that, especially in Buddhism, of, well, like what is it, the prodigal son? Is that how you put it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the child that leaves their parents' house and is rebellious, but then they fuck up their lives and come back. Of course, Asia is all about filial piety, so there's a lot of stories like that. And so this boy rebels and leaves, and then fucks up his life, like becomes a criminal, does horrible things, and comes back on the run from jail one day and finds forgiveness with this monk that raised him, and he repents, does jail time, and then at the end of the story he comes back to become the monk, and the cycle starts again when a new baby shows up for him to raise. It was really interesting. But that could also be this career downfall advancing the plot and advancing this boy's character growth, and he's discovering that this was what he wanted all along, but he had to go on this whole cyclical journey of discovering what was actually good for him.
Yeah, I just had a silly idea. So like, on the subject of kind of like moving down in career, if we go back to The Hobbit and Bilbo Baggins, his career shifted from like basically one of what the hobbits like passed for the ruling, not the ruling class, but like the upper class, to, I'm pretty sure they call him a burglar. Like, they're like, we need a job where you're a burglar, and he's like, I'm a burglar now. So there's that. He goes from being, hobbit aristocracy, as it were, to, being a guy that like dwarves hire to steal, gold from dragons, like, which is silly, but it's also cool. And it advances his plot forward. Like if he just stayed in his house and eaten and been a rich hobbit, it would have been not that exciting of a book.
Oh, I just thought of a bunch of more examples from Lord of the Rings, but I mean, but the reason why there are so many examples from things like Lord of the Rings, actually, I want to bring a Song of Ice and Fire too.
You would.
I would. It ties into what Michael Disha is saying. Almost every character is given, or I would say should be given, some kind of occupation, or they just seem unrealistic. I would agree. And an occupation, again, doesn't have to be like a 9-to-5 job, or are they a butcher or a farmer? It could be your royalty. It could be you're a homemaker. Those things are occupations. So the writer should take advantage of that in the plot or character development. Yeah, tie it all together.
An aviator says RoboCop. Absolutely. That's a great example.
Yeah, I was thinking in Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones, as the TV show is known. It's the real name is Song of Ice and Fire. Okay, all of the characters are driven by their careers because the society is built on, well, almost all it's a very stratified feudal society. So you're born into a career. Your career is to play this role in court, and you have this station, and you're raised to play that role perfectly. And even something like you're raised to be a knight, you're a second son, so you're raised to be a general, and the first son is raised to be the heir, and all this kinds of stuff. And a lot of the characters, there's a huge variance. A lot of characters, they embrace their role. There are characters that embrace their role in interesting new ways. They figure out how to get what they want through their roles. There are characters that don't begrudgingly play their roles and hate it and use it for personal gain, like Cersei. Like in the book, she just constantly hates how she's treated as a woman. She's like whiny as fuck. It's so annoying. Or you have characters like Arya, who didn't fit the role they were born into, and by both circumstance and choice, ended up picking another path. So I think the way the characters' roles and careers play out in Song of Ice and Fire are very interesting. Jon Snow is another interesting example. He chose to be he chose to be on the wall instead of stay and be a bastard, because he was like, woe is me, wah, it's so hard. But then he he switched allegiances and all this kinds of stuff, and his career was in flux all the time. He went from being someone a wall defender to becoming one with the wildlings. He sent out as a spy, but kind of ended up becoming, like, it became real, and then he became an actual I forgot the name. He became the commander of the Night's Watch. So
and
that's career advancement.
Yeah, if we're going to Gur Martin, there's even just the Hedge Knight, which is the only one of his that I've actually read where that's his plot advancement, is like his knight dies, and so he's like, I'm gonna be a knight now. Like, and that's that whole journey is him like trying to be a knight and become legitimate. Aviator brought up another good one, Silence of the Lambs. She's trying to become an FBI agent, and the fucking weirdo is trying to become a woman. Is that a career? It might be if you're a man trying to become a woman.
I guess it is.
Dances with Wolves. I didn't like that movie.
Someone said earlier that we can split our streams into Eastern and Western references. I mean, I've read a few Western books. It's, there's only 2 that I bring up all the time. Books.
Can we? Like, what will end up happening if we do that is I'll start talking a lot about how awesome Eastern horror is in comparison to Western horror. And you'll just not stop talking about Vikings. Like, that's what'll happen.
I guess? I suppose?
You'll just be like, do you know what's awesome? Odin. And I'll be like, the Grudge is really fucked up, you guys.
Yeah, it switches sometimes, okay? Once in a while, it's
That's what'll happen.
Yeah.
We're trying to impart knowledge and open an actual conversation instead of just spurging and fangirling all the time, okay?
I mean, I could do
Gosh.
that.
And there's Maromi up there going old school. Elrond's father was the protector of the last Silmaril, and is now the protector of its creations, the sun and moon.
Oh.
We could do a whole show just on the Silmarillion if people want something to fall asleep to. I'm down.
Yeah, you want to do a 5-hour show? So it's just going to take longer than that. We need to start, okay, when we run out of content, just be like, okay, Ali, we're going to read the Silmarillion and dissect it. And that'll become this entire series.
I'm down.
Let's go.
Everyone's like, please never do that.
It's going to happen. We'll make it entertaining. Hey, Vaughn, what's up? Vaughn Coleman's in chat.
Solo's like, do that next week.
Next week. Yep.
Yeah. It's been years since I've read it. What we should do is we'll just read like 3 paragraphs at a time and pull them apart for 2 hours, and then that'll be the next 10 years of our lives.
That's what's gonna happen, though. There's so much. That legit could take that long.
Maybe Amazon can't ruin Lord of the Rings because they haven't done a Lord of the Rings show.
They can't ruin Lord of the Rings because the books always exist and they can't corrupt that.
No, they didn't make a Lord of the Rings show. I don't know what people are talking about when they say they made one.
Yeah, nothing they created is accurate to...
There's nothing Lord of the Rings about anything they've made, so...
It's completely ridiculous.
Awesome one. Amazon made a great Silmarillion show. When? What are you talking about?
What?
It didn't happen.
You crazy.
Anyway.
They don't have the rights. That is bullshit. I mean, that's, you know, I've heard that before. I think that's a bullshit excuse on their part. Be like, oh, we don't have the rights to, like, they have
Then
the rights
don't make
to
it.
plenty of things. Right. They can.
They have the rights to like a couple paragraphs of the appendices. Okay? So make those.
It's not
I
the
guess.
things that they have the rights to. Clearly, they had the rights to use Galadriel and Elrond. But they still fucked it up. That's not a
'Cause they
matter
didn't
of
care.
they didn't have the right. It's exactly, they didn't care. They didn't care about the source material. It was a classic modern example of this thing that all these fucking weirdos in Hollywood do to everything. They have their own story that they want to tell, their own little fantasies. It's like their own fanfic, and they place that onto the work that they're adapting instead of respecting what was already established and just fucking adapting it. Or in the case of something like trying to come up with a story in the previous ages of the Lord of the Rings, there's so much world building. It's still, even if you say, well, Tolkien didn't write in that much detail, all the themes and the characterizations are there. You just have to stay accurate to it. It's not hard. They just don't care.
Yeah, they just don't care. Super emo Chinese lady and goth girl. She's not Chinese.
Well, ethnically I am. That's fine.
Well, you said last time you're not Chinese. You said that.
I think I said I'm not from China.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Are you a super emo?
I'm so emo. Oh my god.
Look how sad she is and how much she never smiles.
Never smile. I'm so emo sad.
Isn't Tolkien public domain now? No.
No.
What? Shut up.
No, it's just everybody draws from his work, and 90% of fantasy is derivative of Tolkien. He's not public.
Taiwan owns China. That's right, Chris.
Yes, that's right. I'm gonna pin this comment just to.
All right. So
a rebel.
Building careers in sci-fi. So in futuristic settings, it's fun to create unique and imaginative careers like memory hacker, future crime cop, and if we're going to the Hitchhiker's Guide, sandwich guru. At one point, Arthur Dent becomes like a really brilliant sandwich guru. And that was kind of funny. I'm not a fan of most of that series, but that part was nice. Ali continuing with her presentations is nice. Thank you. So yeah, how do you build a career in your sci-fi novel? Well, with sci-fi, usually you're going for something that is realistic, science-based-ish, as long as you can justify it in sciencey language, you're pretty much good. That's why I like sci-fi. If you can sit there and say, well, like, oh, they hack memories by tapping into the central neural system, utilizing this insane computer system that I built, like, that's the sort of stuff where it's like, yeah, okay. Like, absolutely. Or, child soldier, like Ender's Game, they go up in space and train these, hyper intelligent children how to be soldiers, like in this, crazy military school. So yeah. Whoa, this sounds heavy, says Chris. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, bad. Yeah, that's science fiction is. I still think sci-fi is a subgenre of fantasy, and you can do so many things in science fiction. It's basically the technology and the futurism. It is essentially, you can do the same effects in fantasy by magic, but you just use a different excuse for science fiction almost all the time. Like, look at Star Wars. Star Wars is a fairy tale in structure. It's a hero's journey, and it's structured like long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's a classical fairy tale structure, but they have all these science fiction excuses for like the Force and everything. But what it comes down to is the Force is a magic system, right? And the same with Melange, the same with all kinds of like the Giver as well. And trying to think of like a bunch of in the Matrix. That could be, they use technology as an excuse, but you can do a similar story in fantasy. It just wouldn't be machines. It could be like the Ents taking over, but they harvest human energy, but they have like this root system. Like you could do the same exact kind of plot, but except it was a commentary on technology and the future, but you can use it to comment on something else with the same, effect.
Yeah. I mean, and it helps shape the world, and it adds depth to the narrative, even if it's like criminal activities. As a criminal in sci-fi, we'll go to. I'm not sure if this could be a career. Well, maybe in Logan's Run, which is kind of a callback. Not everybody's going to know what I'm talking about, but Logan's Run, his career, the main character, his career is to kill people who are running away from like their death day, their last day, because no one's allowed to live past, I think it's 25. And if you try, the Sandman will come and kill you. So, but on the other side of that, there are people who make it their career to figure out how to game that system so that they can live longer, get people out of that world so they can live longer. Oh, you know what we haven't mentioned? One of your favorites, The Giver.
I thought I did mention that. Maybe
I
didn't.
Not tonight, no.
Yeah.
Or did you?
The Giver. I think I mentioned it very quickly. The memory passing on in The Giver, but it has that same, all the careers in The Giver, right? That's a very relevant.
That's like almost the whole thing is like they're all given careers.
They're assigned careers as like teenagers, and their lives are controlled by the state that wants them to just be working. It's like ultra commie dystopia, and they don't even know how.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Humanity. The chat's mad at me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was probably like mumbling. They don't even realize how devoid their life is of meaning or emotion, because they're literally drugged and conditioned to not feel emotions anymore. And The Giver is this one person whose career is to be the keeper of all the memories and emotions of his whole society. And that's the main character, is this teenage boy who discovers that he's going to be the Giver. And in the process of becoming the Giver and finding out how fucked up his society is, and what certain things, like there's thing in The Giver called, I forgot what it's called. The people are like retired or something. When they get to a certain age, they're just carted off. There's a big celebration, never seen again. But obviously
the ancient one's home or something. They go there for like a couple years, and then like they're killed, but no one understands that it's being killed.
Yeah, they don't understand love. They don't understand whenever they have pain, that the pain is immediately taken away, and they don't even understand death. They're just in these perpetually carefree, childlike states. But
they're given things to do.
Yeah, they are. But their career is they're assigned certain things. Like there are girls that, if they're like particularly robust girls, are assigned the career of being birthing mothers, so they pop out a few children and they're laborers, and then they just lounge around for the rest of their life. Like you're just assigned that. It's like fucking wow, this is our future. But it's a good book. And yeah, careers are very relevant in that book.
Yeah, there's other sci-fi like Anthem by Ayn Rand. That one's very driven, career driven, where there's like basically our main character is a genius, and he lives in this world where no one is allowed to be an individual. They don't even have names. They have like words and numbers that they are given, and they're assigned a job, and even though he's a genius who like reinvents the light bulb because they stopped using electricity, but he, you know, he has a great mind. He's given the job as a street sweeper just because he's like a bigger man, and they're like, oh, he could push a broom all day. So, and that's a source of dissatisfaction to him, and it moves the plot forward and creates more character growth. So, Anthem is probably one of the best like novellas that anyone can ever read for dystopia or philosophically. The Fountainhead, also another Ayn Rand that examines ethics in career. I think I brought up the idea of careers because I was like, how can we take something that's like sounds boring and make it like fun and cool? Because I believed we could do that. Hail Joe Ball.
Hi Joe.
And I think we have, but it's because jobs and careers are very important for people's lives. You know, they give meaning, and that is easily reflectable in our fiction. So
yeah, everyone needs a purpose in life, and that is more than just something to do so you can put food on the table. Because for example, even someone's career, that I think what we're talking about is not just a job, it's a career, and there's a distinction. Because someone who works a 9 to 5 that they hate, or does a job that they hate, but why are they putting up with it? Well, maybe it's because it's to feed their children. That their actual career is being a good father. That's their purpose. And everybody needs a purpose in life. I think people get really depressed when they don't have that. So their job isn't actually being like, I don't know, a data entry guy. That person's job would be, I'm being a responsible father, or their career would be that.
Yeah.
So it's your character's purpose.
The calling, you know, what people are called to do is another way. Or in, sorry.
I just had a bunch of other sci-fi examples with Blade Runner is similar to, were you talking about Logan's Run? That sounded really similar. I've never seen that, but
Logan's Run is older.
Okay, so Blade Runner is like kind of a base. Okay, I know Blade Runner is like inspired by a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, he's a hunter of androids that have lived too long, so same thing. And Ghost in the Shell, the fact that the main characters in Kusanagi, their career is they're this elite cyborg team of counterterrorism cyborg squad forms the entire basis for the story. There's no other perspective by which to tell the story because they have all this special information, they have special skills, they're specially trained, they're all ex-military, almost all except for Togusa. So, and the specific backgrounds of all the characters, what part in the military, what part in the police force they played before, adds to their dynamic in the team. But yeah, that entire series, it's a police procedural with cyborgs and futuristic terrorism. So
well, and where did it go? Michael said that men especially define themselves by their occupation. That's absolutely true, and that's why a lot of the fiction that has been popular for men, especially in sci-fi, is like he's a soldier, you know, or he's a blue-collar worker who has found himself like suddenly transported to another planet where now he has to like fight aliens and save the women and become king. Like, I have read so many of these like old sci-fi and fantasy stories now where that's the plot. Like, normal blue-collar guy suddenly transported to the middle of the earth or out in another dimension or whatever, and now all their blue-collar stuff is useless, but they have to rely on their wits, you know, and their body. Like, they even did it in heavy metal with a little boy who gets like transformed into like this big muscular man, and you know, now that's what he does. Like, he's no longer a student, he becomes like a leader who has to, you know, fight for his woman. Like, that's a huge thing that is a theme in tons of fiction that appeals more specifically to men. I think a lot of what we are referencing is stuff that has been more masculine enjoyed, which is fine. It kind of shows like where our priorities are, as each different sex. But yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. Well, all of this stuff is evolutionarily determined as well. Michael David says that men are defined solely by what we provide for others. Nobody cares about us as people. Well, this stuff, people think that we've moved past being hunter-gatherers. We haven't. Our brains are built as hunter-gatherers, and that includes the roles that men and women, by and large, are instinctively want to play for the most part. Almost everyone. Like, blah, 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 there are exceptions, but most men see themselves and as well as a tool. So
Yeah.
what use am I to society? How can I make myself an optimized tool and be of use to someone? And I think figuring this stuff out kind of answers a lot of questions, and it explains the kinds of entertainment and the career choices for men and women. Like this all makes sense. And I think women find more fulfillment in being in emotional harmony with the people around them and exploring other people. And this is, everybody knows, girls and women are more interested in people and men tend to be more interested in things, and this is evolutionarily determined. So yeah, that's why a lot of stories we're referencing, it's about solving problems in the world, and just by evolution, evolution has determined that the male gender has been built to be the primary sex to do that job.
Yeah.
And women can do it, but it's mostly, more masculine pursuit, and that's fine.
And if a woman is doing a job in fiction that a man usually does, that can be a way to advance the plot as well. Michael David wanted us to read his follow-up where he said the advantage of that is that your biology doesn't define your value.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's in fiction that can be way more loose though. Like there's a lot of room to play with that as opposed to reality.
It can depend as well. I mean, it's also, historically speaking, it's people complain about, well, women were oppressed in society, which I think is true to an extent, but also it's mostly women were held back by our biology. Like if you're having a period every month and you have to have children, you can't, be running companies and countries or hunting, and it's just harder. Like life is just fucking harder for women. Biology treats women like shit. So it's like there's multiple layers to this, but also women are more protected. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah. Biology doesn't treat women very well, but society doesn't treat men very well.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of breaking it down, because I think men have more chances, because males are driven to prove themselves, and by biological necessity they have to prove themselves. It's high risk, high reward, and that pans out in sort of like behavioral extremes. The male behavioral spectrum is more extreme. You have more male CEOs, but more male homeless people, and more criminals. And women tend to be in the middle. Women are the stabilizing force of society, behaviorally speaking. So it all makes sense. And it could be a good thing in the sense of you have a chance of proving yourself. Yeah. But also, if you're a woman, you're protected, so it's like you're safe, but also you don't really achieve greatness. That's sort of how I see like the historical role of women. So it's sort of like this trade-off.
That's why the whole like, oh, I'm a princess, but I'm longing to escape my walls is such a common trope as well.
Yeah.
Because we hear being protected and fulfilling the biological role that has been given me. However, I'm not going to have much chances to, grow as a person. Like, or decide that I don't want to grow as a person and come back and be a mom or whatever. Like, you know, it's
yeah, which it's a storyline that it's a character motivation that makes a lot of sense, and it's just
Solo. We have done different genders and sexes, I believe, and species and races.
yeah, we can.
They're all in the playlist. I think we both have like the playlist link for all of them. So
yeah, just Robal said pros and cons exist for both about equal. I would say so. Yeah, it's just different. It's I think actually, especially historically speaking, we're nowadays it's all fucked up. Like technology has liberated us a lot from having to pay attention to evolution and biology, but we really I think people should have an awareness of we're not free from it, and I think that's what's fucking up society right now. Renie draws men have to be extremely adapted to nature because you protected women from nature for most of evolution. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're better drivers.
That's men have better 3D, like better peripheral vision, better motion vision because men are hunters. But what's interesting is when women have better smell, better color vision because you have gather fruits and stuff and take care of babies, and it's interesting. I heard someone say women. It's like a lot of female behavior, like stereotypical female behaviors are. Male and female behaviors. Men are more aggressive because they're hunters. Men are better, like more all like better at sports. It's all they're hunters, and why do women like shopping so much? Because we're gatherers. We go around.
They needed
gather
stronger
things.
bones because they're always falling and getting smacked with things. They need muscles that are bigger and have more longevity because they're having to run a lot to find things. Or to fight things, and women have other things that they're doing. It all makes sense, and keeping that in mind is a really good way to write careers.
Yeah, so speaking of the traditional and evolutionary roles of men and women, my character Ragna kind of is one of those characters who, well, I did already say that she's decided to pursue her career at the expense of having a fulfilling personal life. And it's for a logical reason and makes sense. There was a trauma in the past where she thought that, well, to be able to defend myself and to have this awesome power is the only way to survive and only way to not have like these things happen to me and my family again. So she's also very talented and very strong. She's the strongest caster, and in the group she's like a prodigy at what she does. She's like a prodigy spellcaster basically, but her struggle isn't with how do I advance my skill. Her struggle is with interpersonal relationships and what is the price of her chasing her dreams, because she's sort of putting aside her, and she's like, in that way she's not a very nurturing or feminine or motherly woman to begin with, but she does realize later on that that's a price to pay, and I'm having a lot of fun exploring that in the writing. I hope you guys like it too. Catch up the chat. Shaking those Tony's Ali.
I'm
shuffling around.
I'm here. Sorry. My dog just wanted in. He couldn't open my door.
Magical
Everybody, Valentine has entered the chat. Or the
panel. Hi, Valentine.
He can't hear you, but hi.
Hello. Oh, doggo. Magical boss babe. Yeah, but not in an annoying way. I am on a fucking mission, okay, I have a magical boss babe. I have like tons of powerful ass women in my story, but I'm on a mission to do it in a way that's good, that'll show all these bitch ass modern writers that can't write women for shit how to actually write women well in a way that's believable to the nature of women and just as like human beings. So they seem like believable human beings with flaws and goals, and they can also be awesome but not be annoying Mary Sue's. I'm going to fucking prove this as is like a primary goal of my writing. So
did they
I'm on a mission.
Asked, I don't remember who but it's far now. Somebody asked if we've ever reversed our gender roles in our writing. I have in a book that's an anti-feminist book, though. So
you would.
the message isn't really like, oh, women can also do that. It's more like women should not have done this. It's a very like naughty, like why did you naughty? Like that's my anti-feminist book. Most of my books, the quote unquote gender roles, I hate using the word gender because it's made up bullshit by a fucking creeper.
Really?
Most of yes.
Is that in itself a feminist thing?
Yes.
Oh.
Made up bullshit. Until pretty recently, it was just sex. Like the difference between the sexes, what they do.
Makes sense.
So that's a whole other rant that I could get onto that'll probably get you kicked off YouTube right now. And I don't want to do that to your channel too.
We'll do it at a later date.
YouTube.
Yeah, fucking prudes.
But yeah, I have done that. Abba says, exactly, Miss Allie. Of course I'm right. Everyone always says that I'm right. Chuck Dixon said I was right. Famously. And that's Cyberchud says it's true. It is mostly woke writers that make strong women annoying because their core philosophy is hateful, so it shines through. Yeah, and they're obnoxious. It's obnoxious.
Well, what they do is in itself sexist as fuck because they make either their women just bossy narcissists or they write their women like wannabe men, which is ridiculous. It's how, if that isn't actual misogyny, then what is? Why can't women be impressive based on their natural traits and what women are good at?
Yeah, I mean,
and that's something I hate about modern mentalities. Like, they don't like motherhood. They think women's natural instincts are not valuable.
Even if you just go to like children's fiction, up until recently, mothers in children's fiction were revered. Peter Pan, The Secret of Nim, like those were IPs or whatever you want to call them that said basically like mother is sacred. The Crow, mother, what is it? Mother is God in the eyes of a child or something, I think. Never once been wrong. Links for Allie. Thank you so much.
Well done. Thank you.
If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. It doesn't happen often.
You're really wrong, Allie. I can affirm.
Kurt Boss said H.R. Geiger is the king. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that, mate. He had his own problems that were very sexually involved. But that's a whole other thing we could talk about too. Mother is the name for God in the eyes of a child. Thank you, Takame.
Yeah, there's
Billy. Shut up, Billy.
Peter Pan is a great example for that. Being a mother in itself is a career. Yeah. And it's a role that is important. And I think in the modern West, there's absolutely just no appreciation for it. It's like, oh, to be a mother, you just pop out a baby and you feed it. There's so much more to it than that. And it's something that only women can do, like 100%. And why is that not valued? Because if it's not done well, and if we don't value it, you fuck up humanity.
Mermaid says, what about Dog Mom? Shut up, Mermaid. Dog Mom. That's not a thing. Ridiculous.
I'm lost. Hey, Chris, what's up? Red Dress Press. Hello.
Can a guy pay a little compliment or appreciate a pretty flower once in a while? No.
These are references I don't understand.
That's okay. We were talking about Peter Pan. Have you seen Hook?
No, I still haven't seen Hook.
Okay. I mean, well, it's a Peter Pan story. Where it's, even though Peter Pan has grown up, it's still about like the power of, being a woman, the power of being a mom. Because ultimately, like, being a father is what is what saves Peter Pan in Hook, but the central theme is he wanted to become a father, which is why he left Neverland, so that he could join the real world and grow up with the woman that he loved and make her a mother and be a father. And that's a big deal. And you know, I hope everyone's seen Hook. But this isn't really gonna spoil anything. But when Hook dies, he says, "I want my mommy." Like, it's great. It's not as lame as I just made it sound, because Dustin Hoffman is brilliant. But like, that is how deeply that Peter Pan used to feel about mothers. I mean, they freaking pseudo kidnap Wendy so that she can be their mom, because these little boys instinctively know, you know, we need someone that's, you know, more congenial. To darn our socks, you know, and kiss our wounds when we fall, and, you know, so that we're not just living in, you know, squalor, like in tattered clothing, like starving ourselves because we're not eating real food. Like, you know, that's needed, that's necessary. Obviously they need that wildness and that craziness, you know, to go out and get it all out and fight and stuff, and that's how they learn. But ultimately that nurturing is what makes, or used to make, men grow and want to be better people. I've always said that the mom, Wendy, all that is the real hero of Peter Pan, because Peter Pan is a fucking douche.
She is in the every original Peter Pan. Well, Peter Pan is like a much older character, but I think Wendy was always a heroic character, and especially in the Disney version, 2003 film, is very clear she's already the hero, which is baffling. Why did they have to change it in that shit new remake? Because she.
Wait, you saw the 2003 film?
Yes. It was
That's
great.
So awesome, Jason Isaacs. Am I right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was such a good adaptation. They didn't even
Hello,
make
Hook.
it was so good. But that was a great fucking adaptation. It was done before like the world went crazy. And it was that was like a nice balance between, well, Wendy is she was a bit more of a tomboy, but she was still feminine. And it was her motherly instincts and how she was more mature and measured, and she was caring, but she was pushing them to be sensible. It was her sensibility that pushed the plot forward, that saved the day in the end. And it was both her traits and Peter Pan's traits coming together to defeat Hook. And it was so well done. But the modern adaptation, she's a bitchy boss girl, and they think that's empowering, except it's fucking not.
She's so obnoxious in the new one. Like, I couldn't get past 5 minutes. I think I was 5 minutes and like 8 seconds in before I turned it off, because she's just a little cunt. But Takume reminded me too, like, they in the old Peter Pan. Sorry, my foot is stuck in my chair.
Oh no!
In the old
Stinky Faces, they were in the old in that movie. Really?
In the old Peter Pan, the thing that they said was that the Lost Boys were lost because they were stupid and fell out of their prams. And there were no lost girls because girls were much too clever to fall out of their prams. And thank you, Kurt. That's very kind of you. By adding lost girls into Peter Pan, they have basically said, yeah, chicks are dumb too. Like,
yeah, they framed it as, oh, little boys are stupid, but what they're really saying is there was people used to just be so much more aware of basically how humans function. Oh my god, Allie's camera is all going static. Oh,
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your camera is all janky. Okay, I hope she fixes that. Okay, what was my point? Where the whole like it's a story for kids, but the framing is like, oh, the boys are like, little boys are stupid and follow their parents. But what it really is that behavioral thing that I was talking about. Males are the extremes of society, and females are the grounding center. So that's why the boys are they're the more wild ones, and they take more risks. But Wendy, as the female, she when she is in tune with her natural motherly instinct, she's the sensible one, and she's the grounding force. And together they work together to defeat the enemy, and that's fucking how humans have worked up until now. That's how we've survived until modernity, and now these fucking idiots want to ruin it and think we don't have to pay attention to this stuff. It's very stupid.
Yep. Sorry about my camera. Yeah, we got on a tangent, so let's move on.
We did, but it was a good tangent.
It was a good tangent.
We'll do another show on like sex someday.
Again. World building and fantasy specifically, because I knew that was my next thing, and we're talking about Peter Pan, which is more fantasy. So fantasy jobs can be magical or they can be mythical. I really liked this slide, so I didn't do a lot, and plus we're pretty good at finding our own examples, but I just did brewer of potions and crafter of lightning.
That is such a pretty slide. Oh, that slide makes me happy. It's all symmetrical.
I'll try and do more symmetrical slides so that you feel fulfilled.
I'll be very happy and fulfilled.
His camera is haunted. I mean, it
that was weird.
It also could just be that my wires are dumb.
No, did it just come back on its own?
No, I did clicking and wiggled the wire and stuff.
Okay. Dango still asks, what careers have you made out for your stories? Specifically, what unique careers? I'd like to hear for Rotting Crown specifically. Like, what unique careers have you made up for that story?
This is more of a silly one, but when I was trying to figure out how my economy would work, because it's a very waterlogged country, I was needing to focus more on jobs that were in and around the water. And then I was thinking, like, what could be, there are easy ones where it's like fisherman, boat maker, like all that stuff. But there were different ones where I was like, okay, in this world, what do the more magical creatures do? And that's when I made up, I've talked about this before, but that's when I made up the fairies, where like the fairies are so strong, but don't call them that though. Don't call them that. The fairies will be mad. That's what I made that up, because that way they're so strong they can just pull, a fairy. The fairy can pull the fairy. And you don't have to have like your own you don't have to have your own boat or whatever. And that means that the fairies can be very, very rich. They can charge almost whatever they want. If you piss them off, they can dump all your stuff and ruin your job. Like, so I thought that was fun. But then also another kind of silly one, I was like, well, I've got a lot of kids that I'm writing about, and not all of them grow up, in aristocracy. So what would those kids do? Sure, they could go like kill bunnies and like sell pelts or whatever. But I took inspiration from actual like family members of mine, from like the post-depression era, and they had a worm farm in my family. There was a worm farm, and so I was looking up like, okay, all this stuff about worms and like how to get worms, because you're gonna need bait for fish and toads and whatever. There's this way to like find worms that I guess probably the guy from Dune sort of used it, but like you you build this thing that like thumps the ground, and it actually makes the worms come out. And so I was like, all these kids can, you know, who want some extra cash can just go and, you know, they have these like worm stomping things. I watched a bunch of videos on it. It's so cool and weird and fascinating. No, you don't have to dig. There's like a worm stomper thing, and it stomps the ground. It disturbs the worms because it's like rain. You know how worms come out during the rain? It makes them all come up. So I threw that in there as a way to be like, yeah, you know, this is how they get their bait, but it's also how the kids who are less well off can, you know, feed their family, or, you know, maybe even have some pocket money, like whatever. You could get a bunch of worms and sell the bait and hire a fairy so that you can run away to like the fantasy circus or whatever. That, yeah. Is it just called a thumper? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Solo, you can electrocute them out as well. But like there's no electricity in my world, so not there. But those are two careers that I made up for Rotting Crown specifically, that aren't like you know, oh, I'm a slave master, like, oh, I'm a queen, you know, I'm a merchant, you know, stuff like that. So if that's what people want to hear, Amish fantasy. It's not Amish fantasy.
Fantasy.
Or you could say one of my characters, her career is to be a cannibal chef.
Cannibal chef.
Yeah, because she's the one, her mom like craves magical flesh.
Oh yeah.
So she like kills all the magic slaves and just like eats their flesh alive and stuff. She grows up, and in order to like save her mom from doing that, to try and fix her, she starts like kidnapping them as well. So yeah. That could be a career, I guess.
It could be. Sounds like a viable career option.
Very like awesome. Albert Fish. Yeah, sort of.
He knew what was up.
Yeah. But then you can have, you know, cool mythological stuff. Like I mentioned, Crafter of Lightning. That's pretty common throughout mythology, is to have, you know, these great beings who personally hand forge, you know, things like lightning and ocean waves, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, in Fiendish, well, sorry, I was drinking something. The magic system is different depending on species. So super racist world. Every race has a different magic system, except it's actually different species. But
you're a speciest.
I'm a speciest. I know. And I was very scientifically accurate about it too, because I was like, they can't interbreed. They're actually different species. There's no like fucking half elves. Also, I don't have elves. I made up my own species other than humans. But anyways, the magic system for humans, and I kind of have like higher humans and lower human, kind of like, well, what if the Neanderthals survive? So there's this species of human subspecies called Burman, and they're humans, but they're just dumber and have less magical abilities. But then you have the Ispolia, which is what Ragna is. They have like blue or green hair and red skin. They're human, but they're like higher humans, and their magic system is elemental based. But I decided that humans in my world, they're the ones that are more logic and rational driven for the most part, and they tend to organize in large structures, and they want to change the world around them. They like want to terraform everything, which is kind of a main trait of humans already. But I was like, let me boil it down to something that is like a clearly distinct trait from the other species in my world. So there are other species that are more in tune with nature, and there are other species that they also want to change their environments, but they're solitary. They're not social animals. So I try to come up with like a sort of base trait for every species. But anyways, so for
Based.
humans and Ispoliad, yeah, I'm so based. Wow, they because humans and Ispoliad, they're the whole like human group of species. They're the most numerous, so most large societies are dominated by the human species, and therefore they have this whole systematic structure for their magic. They don't think of it as magic. They think of it as it's just their supernatural ability. And every different race has a different race species has a different supernatural ability. So for the humans, it's elemental, and every person is in tune with a different type of element. Essentially, they're like all avatars, except they have to train and learn equations in order to manipulate the element that they're biologically attuned to. And very few people can actually learn to cast competently. You have to go to school for years basically, and you have to be really smart. So even though everybody has an attunement, very few humans are actually competent casters. So kind of like I took some inspiration from how the maesters are in Song of Ice and Fire, but that is also obviously it's inspired by just how religious orders are in Europe. So there's like you have like base level, they start training at a young age, and then they have like a every town has a temple that is run by a head shaman, and then the head shaman has apprentices, and then there's also a shamanic center for the whole continent. It's called Malkenka. It's like the citadel at the top of a mountain that was actually part of this ancient city that was left over by this old civilization. It's really cool. We're going to go there eventually. I can't wait. But the Malkenka is sort of, so the whole continent has it doesn't have a lot of centralized power. It's a lot of scattered small kingdoms and clans, but because the shamanic network is so cohesive, Malkenka is technically like the power center of the continent, even though they don't directly govern it, because they kind of have shamans like all over in every town, and they're a small group of people that are connected and all know each other. The like Malkenka and a few other shamanic centers are like that's like the actual power structure of the continent. But anyways, that's a career path, and that's a career path that Ragna has chosen, and a bunch of other characters. And I forgot I was talking about because I started explaining my world building. But yeah, there you go. That's shamanism in my world. We were talking about careers in our world. Yeah. So that's a career path that you can take if you have natural casting abilities, and if you're like, oh, you're pretty smart, and you have like the right amount of aura or whatever, so you can become a shaman trainee. And depending on your elemental attunement, there will be different types of things you could do, because there are 8 different elements that a person could be attuned to. Usually they have like about 2 or 3 each. So if the most valued ones are life domain, earth domain, and water domain, because that's seen as useful in everyday life, right? Life domain can heal and can also do stuff like make crops grow. Like making things grow, that's not earth domain, that's life domain, because that's that's life energy. So I was like trying to be very rational about it. But the earth domain is doing stuff like, well, you can like terraform things, move earth, obviously, and also warp wood, and also that's practical. Or you can refine earth. If someone that's very well trained in the earth domain, you can refine earth, and that's very, very useful. You can distill minerals out of certain kinds of earth or stone. So, and the water domain, of course, you can extract water. So people always have like clean water. Those are the most valued domain. Then domains like death or plasma, which is lightning, are either not valued or are outright feared, which is people have a strong prejudice against the death domain because it's seen as evil and it's death, right? Ooh, it's scary. But the story will eventually explore how there are actually many uses for the death domain that have just not been explored because people are afraid of it and remain ignorant. So yeah, what else do I have? I have a bunch of other stuff, but it's a little spoilery.
Well, then let's move on.
At least that was boring.
It wasn't boring. I am quiet while you say your thing, because you're quiet when I say my thing, because we're talking about our things.
Okay.
Next,
E.
closer to contemporary fiction. We don't have to like touch on it too much, but I wanted to because I know there are people who, you know, write that. And I have some as well. But in modern settings, I think that picking jobs readers identify with usually works out better. You know, a struggling artist, an overworked mother, a burned out lawyer, you know, kind of stuff like that, where it's like when I was thinking of burned out lawyer, I was kind of being cheeky because I was thinking of the devil's advocate. He's not exactly burned out, but like he's, you know, you haven't seen that, have you?
Nope, I haven't seen
Okay.
anything.
Well, he like has to go and he discovers that he like is working for the devil. Beautiful Dark Twisted Fago Tree says that it's a real PowerPoint presentation. You're goddamn right it is.
Allie's on a mission.
Because I'm better.
PowerPoint. She's better than all of us. She's going to PowerPoint the shit out of this show from now on.
I'm better.
She is.
I'm not better than Renie, but I'm better than like those freaking weirdos.
No, you put in more effort than me too, so you're better than me. It's okay.
Yeah, the movie wasn't subtle about it, Maromi. Are any of your characters artists? Would you try to change your art style when drawing their art?
I would. I don't
feel like that's a you thing.
Yeah, that's right. No, I don't have characters that are artists. I considered having characters that were musicians, but I was like, okay, it's a comic. You can't hear their songs. It's probably even work better in prose because you could describe like how the music makes people feel. But you could do that in a comic as well. But it's sort of like, nah, it wasn't gonna add anything to my story if I added a musician character. Though I do have a character who was a performer. So Yomi she was raised as a slave to a traveling theater caravan. So she does play some instruments and she knows how to act. And that is actually a plot point that comes up again and again. Like she acts her way out of shit all the time. So I do use that. But there's a bunch of stuff about like, oh, let me have artists and musicians that I just scrapped because I thought it was just self-indulgent. Dago Solo for 10. Thank you. Off topic, I know. But are all the species in your book native to Arvos? No. They're not. I have some species that are not native to Arvos. So humans are native to Arvos. I haven't quite decided where they evolved, but they, same as our universe, they evolved in one place and then just kind of spread out all over the fucking place.
The chat's getting weird. Sizzle Chest is like, does Yoni have eggs?
What?
Why are you guys being weird?
What's happening?
I don't know.
Oh, I love Yeshua.
The name
really likes Ali.
The name changes, kind of like the Vampires and Anne Rice books. What was?
It's Yomi. I just have mush mouth. Okay, her name is Yomi. I have mush mouth sometimes.
Oh, okay. I thought they were just being weird.
No, it's probably me.
Does Yomi have eggs?
I mean, she is a fertile age female. Does that answer your question? Would you like to have like a fantasy about having children with Yomi? I mean, I guess go ahead. It's your headcanon.
You're like, I have given her breasts. So.
Wait, Yoni eggs? Is that a thing?
Yoni eggs?
Do I want to Google this? Hold on. I'm
going
to Google this.
Don't Google it. Don't ever Google anything the chat tells you to Google.
Okay. Ali knows best.
I have learned from my mistakes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, the vampires that were put in a traveling theater that only operated at night. It wasn't a traveling theater, but I know what you're talking about. Name changes. I do a whole, to avoid talking about Anne Rice constantly on this stream, because I could, I do a whole series of Interview with the Vampire and Anne Rice stuff on my channel, and there's a ton there. So I'll do it there. So to give mercy to poor Renie.
Thank you. I mean, I wouldn't be annoyed. I just have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, your brain would just turn off. It's fine. Like, that's fine. I'd rather talk about the stuff we can both talk about. All right, next. Career development and character arc. We've talked a little bit about this, but basically it shows careers show character growth through their career. Writers can show character growth through career progression. I don't know, maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of like Kitchen Nightmares, but it's like a young chef rising to fame through hard work, a businessman discovering family is more important, like a prince discovering that he needs to like grow up and become king, like, you know, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's career development and character arc. That is the vast majority of shonen, isn't it? Where it's usually a young boy. A shonen is target demographic is for teenage boys or younger, like boys and teenage boys. They have like a goal, like I want to become the next ninja master. I want to become a superhero, and then it's like their career towards that is the story. So it is definitely a useful tool. Young Chef Rising Fame. Okay, there was this anime I watched when I was little, and I don't know the English or the Japanese name because I watched it dubbed in Chinese. It was called Zonghua Xiaozu, and it had to be made in Japan because nowhere else was making anime in like the fucking 90s.
It was called what?
Zonghua Xiaozu. Yeah, nobody else.
I was going to try and say it, and then I realized that what I would end up saying would probably be something like absolutely filthy or something.
And it's fine. I would be...
You'd be like, Ali, why?
You can't be worse than Jake, who misconstrues every single Chinese thing I say. It's
Wait, okay. Say it again.
Okay, I'll say it in accurate Chinese, like, broadcaster pronunciation. 中华小厨.
中华小厨.
Okay, it could be worse.
You're like Gesundheit, Ali.
Pardon.
You Philistine.
Okay. Anyways, it was actually really good. I was really into it, and I haven't met anybody outside of like Taiwan who's seen it, and I don't know the English name, but it was this teenage boy who for some reason was like the most amazing cook ever, and for some reason had this older hot ass chick tagging along with him who was like his cooking assistant or something. I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but I guess it's like a power fantasy for boys, but who really like cooking, and he would go around like challenging people to cooking contests, and the whole show is about cooking.
Wait. Is it Fighting Foodons?
No, I know there's a newer show that's like it's about cooking,
do they have, and like, it's little food Pokemons that fight.
No, it's not that. There are multiple cooking anime. Anime is weird, everybody. But there's a newer one where people will eat the dishes and they have O faces, which that's a different one. I'm not talking about that. I know about that. This is an older 90s series. It's great. But yeah, I actually really like this. So you can actually make a compelling story out of
what did I actually say? Anything?
Mm-hmm.
When I tried, did I even say anything?
No.
Okay.
It just sounds.
Okay. You're just babbling like a crazy person. That's probably better. That's for the best.
It's fine. I forgive you.
Thanks.
Not that you need it.
Wow. Yeah, so let's see. Let's move on.
That was a whole ass tangent. I apologize.
No, dude. We already talked about most of that. So then I decided to include the intersection of careers as like a sort of a final like thought, where characters with different careers can collide for dynamic storytelling, where a journalist and a detective team up to solve a mystery, and that sort of thing is popular for 100 years, or a lawyer and a writer go on a drug-crazed road trip, and that sort of thing is like interesting and exciting and funny. So I just threw in a whole bunch of stuff on there on the bottom. But like in Rotting Crown, it's like a fallen, wizard has come across like slaves that he will free so that he can make them into soldiers. Stuff like that. Ali goes hard. I like it. Damn right.
What? What did you say?
I don't know, but it was hard, so cool.
Cool.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Superman and Lois, sure. Yeah. Or like for you, you've got like a slave and does a little boy even have a career? Is his career just like fighting also?
Yeah. Well, I class both Isko and Gazir as rangers. They're just different types of rangers.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those things where he is young, so I started out kind of. Isko's role in the story was morally based. It was more about his perspective, and he was supposed to add heart to the story because it had a bunch of other characters that are just complete assholes. But then I realized later on that he needs to have actual ability and utility as well. But he's another ranger, and that's part of. He also has certain abilities that are different than Casimir. Not going to spoil it. You'll find out about a hint of it in chapter 2. And that's something that will continue developing. And both him and Casimir kind of combine their background in hunting with their unique abilities other than that. And they become, like, as the story goes on, they come into their own. They both become much more, I guess, powerful or proficient late as the story progresses.
There you go.
Yeah, they're both hunters.
And I've only read the second one. I haven't read the first one yet because I haven't gotten mine, but
you probably hate it.
What? Why?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I did my best at the time. I think the second one was a lot better. First one was okay.
Stop it. How many backers do you have? Stop it.
No, the first it wasn't bad. I think I could have pasted it. Paste.
You need sleep.
I don't want it. Whoa. Sorry. I could have pasted it better, but I fixed that in book 2. That's what this is about. Improving with every book and growing as a creator. So
nobody's gonna hate it. Wow.
Okay. All right. Well. Right. It's awesome.
Take your own advice, silly head.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, yeah. Conclusion. When you're writing, craft memorable characters through careers, even if their career is to be a hobo. That can also create a memorable character. Or to be a criminal. They're in fiction, it's all equally valid as long as it makes things good. Right? Careers are powerful tools for world building. But
oh no.
They make things more realistic. They make it so you can relate to characters more. They give more context to characters' personalities and lives. So they enhance storytelling, character development, and reader engagement. And that's what's important. The reader, you guys. We love you guys. We're readers too. And what we want to read is good stuff. So we're going to write good stuff. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah.
You're like, yes, Ali. I promise. I'm not mush right now.
I promise I am totally here and not about to fall asleep. Actually, no, the coffee totally cracked me up, but I'm like in that weird state where my brain is going, but my body is tired. But it's fine. It's fine. You know that it's like that skeleton, that meme of a skeleton on a rocking chair rocking a mile a minute. That's me right now. Yeah.
That is you.
That's me all the time. As long as the character is applying themselves to their calling. That's interesting. I almost brought up One Punch Man at one point, but then the opportunity slipped by. We're talking about something else. One Punch Man is interesting because his career being a superhero? That's not his struggle, because it's sort of like he works so hard to achieve that goal, but it's too easy, and his struggle is that this career is not fulfilling, right? It's very interesting. You okay? Oh, Doggo is snoring!
He's snoring.
Doggo! Ah! Okay, I'm so derailed. Okay. What?
He's better now.
Okay, alright. Anyways.
I thought you needed a little dopamine.
I did, thank you.
Hmm.
That was good. Well done, Ali. It was a beautiful, awesome PowerPoint. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You put us all to shame.
I'm right.
I will do a PowerPoint one of these days, because now I'm motivated. I will not be the slacker here. I will not be seen as the slacker. Probably won't have time. I'll still do a shit job, but I'll try.
That's okay. I'm okay with doing them every time.
I think there will be subjects where I would like to, though, but it's fine as long as you don't feel like I'm mooching off of you. Yeah,
no. As long as you don't mind that I'm constantly in the fucking YouTube gulag.
Ali is too base for YouTube.
I am too base for YouTube, fucking dicks. Let's see. Somebody said something. Ali has a remarkably good dental work. I actually, on my Twitter, my Twitter banner is actually an X-ray of my teeth. Like a full X-ray of all of my teeth. That's what my Twitter banner is, and you can see my 2 fillings.
Wait, is it? I have not paid attention. Oh, lucky. I'm very jealous. My teeth are not that.
You can tell because they're like a solid color because it's metal, and I'm not gonna do it, but I look like I have like pirate teeth back here because it's like silver all the way back here.
Oh, cool.
The reason I have quote unquote good dental work is because I had all my wisdom teeth pulled out.
Oh, that's I never had normal. That.
So now I'm gonna be self-conscious about my smile.
Yeah, nice smile. You do have nice teeth. I never had my wisdom teeth taken out. That's probably why it's my teeth aren't bad, but not.
Now go watch Dune. No.
You will. Let me read a super chat. We'll go to Scootran for 5. Thank you. The Wire is probably the best TV examination of different careers intersecting and driving the story forward. Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else said Futurama.
Futurama. This was a very example-laden presentation. It's just, you can think about, because it applies to everything, right? I think we brought up a lot of works we didn't before.
Well, I had a whole bunch of examples in the last presentation as well. Jake said Ali loves doing them. Just let her. Yeah, why would you want to remove my happiness?
No, I'm not. I feel guilty.
Rumble is calling for Ali. I do have a Rumble channel.
It's my self-guilt. Oh yeah, Rumble actually has free speech.
Huh?
Oh, I just said Rumble actually has free speech.
Yes. The video that YouTube deleted and put me in jail for this week, I am going to upload it onto my Rumble, and then everyone can see how fucking not controversial that it is.
Right. It was a debate, right?
It wasn't even a debate. Like
A
we discussed something rhyming with schmackshmation, and they got all mad.
Pussies.
Yeah.
Oh well, YouTube sold out to the man.
Is this the devil worshipping stream? No.
What?
Gonna start streaming the... Okay, so I would be streaming on Rumble. However, you have to have 100 followers to stream on Rumble. So that is a soft call to go follow me on Rumble.
Go follow Ali. Someone post Ali's Rumble link. Yeah, I do actually have 100 followers, but I never streamed there. But I have a backup. Go follow me too, Renie Draws. You know you can mirror your stuff, so it automatically mirrors over there?
Yeah, but because YouTube deleted it, it didn't mirror.
Oh, that's so stupid.
But I have it on StreamYard, so I'm just going to download it and then upload it.
All right.
Because fuck them. It was a great stream. That wasn't even all we talked about. It was like a Thursday stream where we're talking about this dude named Avocado.
That's stupid. Stupid!
It is stupid. Is Ali wearing elf ears? Oh.
No, your pillow or whatever in the background makes it... There's like a white thingy jutting out behind your head that makes it look like... No, these are
my real person ears.
Real person ears.
Ali is... I'm happy quite often, yet people are always surprised.
Ali's a very happy person.
Victor loves your teeth better than mine. You're just like, thanks.
Those ears look like what?
Why is Michael David... Please don't say you... Of course I don't have an OnlyFans. Fuck off.
What? Neither of us have an only... I think Michael David thinks we're like just degenerate OnlyFans girls. We're not that.
We have brain wads, okay?
We both disavow that.
We type things. We're not friggin' Philistine slut wads.
We're here to make books. Even though I like anime and people accuse me of liking degenerate shit. No, I am very much anti-OnlyFans and horror-y. Oh, Michael David was checking.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy.
I try. Sting fangirls?
Heck yes, Sting fangirls.
Tokame is marketing his OnlyFans page.
Ew, Tokame has an OnlyFans page?
Yeah, I guess he does. You know, hey, it's a free country.
Yeah. Why did you do that? Oh, thank you, Hal, dear. That's so nice. I think it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, no, I was gonna pull up some campaigns. Give me a second. Give me a second.
For sure.
I'm trying to be a good stream runner. It's hard.
When I think I figured it out. Whenever my foot like touches my my camera wire, it just like glitches out like a bad VHS tape.
That's probably.
Pen says Ali and Renie are smart for girls. Thank you.
For girls, yeah. Well, thank you. That is a compliment. I'll take it. All right. Let us show you all what we're creating, because we're not just here running our damn mouths. I mean, we are doing that. At least I'm doing that. But we're both actually making books, and we are creators. So we know a thing or two about what the fuck we're saying on here. And for example, here are some of Ali's books.
Holy crap!
Da-da!
That's my website.
Yeah, it was the first thing that came up in my search history, so I was like, let me just pull that up. Woo! sanguislibris.net. And here's Egg Beater. This is your current campaign. I'll post it in the chat right there. That's a link to the website. So I guess we can go over to Indiegogo. Oh, that went to a new page. All right, let me actually pull up the Indiegogo. What is Egg Beater about?
Egg Beater is a horror slasher comic about a baker whose family is killed horribly and his bakery is burned down, and so he goes on a revenge mission fueled by puns and baking, and kills the crap out of his baker's dozen, and craziness ensues. This is the demon baker of sweet treats, Eric Hatcher. I gotta make the noise. People love the noise.
Wonderful.
And everyone is a special, awesome, interesting character. Even that fly up there that Dean James drew. The fly's name is Frederick J. Flabbergast. And hopefully, when the Tradesman trilogy has gone a little bit further, he can have his own mini comic. Right? I think I'm only $39 away from my next stretch goal, which is 4 extra story pages.
Whoa!
Story pages.
Only $39, everyone. Somebody has $39 to spare. Let's back this book right now. Get on it.
I'm very excited about my insane little book. A mermaid is dying laughing. I mean, it's great. Peter Samedi loves my book. Chuck Dixon loves my book. Frege loves my book. I'm going to name drop all day. Will Perdomo loves my book. Renie loves my book. Frickin' Jake loves my book.
Amazing.
Ethan
It's amazing.
Noticed it once. Yep.
It's amazing. And you
It's
will
a pretty
also
great
love
book.
it if you back it right now.
Freaking Vinyl loves my book. Check this shit out. I got a vinyl of the songs. Oh, bye, Rainy.
What? No,
I got a
I was
vinyl.
just because you were showing off your vinyl.
Okay, yeah. I got a vinyl of the Egg Beater songs, and every single backer, or baker, as I like to call them, every single baker gets a free digital copy of both of the Egg Beater theme songs. Egg Beats included in there. Yeah,
That's
it's
really
pretty
cool.
freaking great. There's friggin' trading cards that are done up like recipes. I've got books and freaking look at those socks, warm and toasty socks.
I love the enthusiasm. Thank you. Saint Eric the Beater. Oh, this is great. You have a lot. You have like an apron as well with the Egg Beater logo.
I do. The apron is freaking great too.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's really like I don't know. I tried it on and I was like, this apron's freaking awesome. And I was like, I can barbecue in this thing. It's gonna last me forever. You can change the sizing on it really easily. I'm really pleased with the apron, actually. I'm pretty fucking happy with it. It's great.
Well done. Good job on the apron. I did see it. It looked like a good apron.
That Saint Eric the Beater, that's actually hand painted on glass.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did that. That's why it looks kind of wonky. But
that's awesome. Yeah. It's on glass.
Nice. Bloody apron. The aprons are not bloody, but I am not responsible for what you do to the apron.
Great answer.
They come blood free. But they're yours
DIY.
when you get them. Oh, I've got
DIY.
friggin' magnets, friends. Like, I've got the 6 a.m. magnets in already with the little beater buddies.
Yeah.
Beater
Cute.
buddies.
I have one somewhere in a box.
I know, I gave you one. Because you're awesome. I've got Dean James magnets. I've got all the prints. I've got friggin' bookmarks and shit. Like, it's pretty great. Make mine sunny side up, says Awesome One. And that's why you're awesome. How often does he beat off? That's a weird question, Hyper Wizard.
Yes, it is. That's a word. Hyper Wizard. We're going to call. Do you know Jake is annoying when we call him Hyper Wizard? Let's just all do that to annoy him.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Well, there you go, everyone. Egg Beater, a vintage style horror slasher comic about a murderous baker on a journey for revenge. Check it out. Now, back it. Live on Indiegogo.
Woo!
We. And for
We.
me, listen. I'm a little retarded. Everybody knows this, so please be patient. Here's my book, Fiendish. It's all I talk about on this channel. So, if that, hopefully everyone has checked this out already. But if you haven't, this is my fantasy mystery comic, and with a dose of Lovecraftian horror and a lot of world building. This is a 8-book series. Book 2 is shipping right now. People are getting their books. Thank you, everybody who has bought either through the website or has backed the Chapter 2 campaign, and I just love retweeting everybody's pictures of their Chapter 2 books. It makes me so fucking happy to see everybody's books on like in their hands and stuff. I actually put out a video and like a little Instagram reel just compiling all of it. I save every single picture people send me when they're like, I got my book. Like, it's like my happy place. Like when I'm sad or I just go look at this folder. I swear, it's like, this gives me purpose in life. So I'm kind of obsessed with what I do. So thank you all so much for supporting this. Seriously, super grateful. And I'm excited for the next book because 2.5 will be launching later this month. I'm coloring the cover. And once I'm done with that, we will be launching the campaign. And 2.5 will actually be a supplemental. It's sort of a side story flashing back to Casimir's teenage years, covering how he grew up after his family was killed and how he was trained to be a hunter's apprentice. And I think the 2.5, the 0.5 stories, not just 2.5, but I have a lot of 0.5 stories that go between the main chapters. And the purpose for those are they're supplementals that will help you understand the characters and the world better. So even though they're not part of the main plot, they're really good. I'm super proud of all of these side stories. And I think you guys will really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to launching that. And Chapter 3 will be coming probably around March or April next year. So, but in the meantime, what you should do is go right here and sign up in the email. This is what I'm using as my email sign up. You will not only get discounts and updates for the blog and the shop over here, that is all on the website. This is an awesome website, by the way. Please check it out. I have so much cool stuff on here.
It is a pretty awesome website.
It is awesome. You also get
inspired me to make mine, and then I was like, wow, this is hard.
It is hard. I spent so much fucking time on it, and I'm also paying for it every month. So please go to the website, pick something up if you see anything that you fancy in the store. And if you sign up for the email list, you'll also get notifications for when campaigns launch, of course. So that's where I'll send out like secret links for secret perks, and you'll get exclusive trading cards only for people who are on our email list. So you definitely want to put your email in there. And this is the store. I actually just changed this up. I realized that I could change like the proportions of these, and the covers for the books look way better. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but I have a bunch of other merch and hats and hoodies and all kinds of cool stuff. But Chapter 2 and Chapter 1 are both up on the store. They're in pre-order right now because I need to do another print run. I did overprint with my last print run for Chapter 2. I printed extra, but so many people ordered books and on the website for Chapter 1, and it's with, the cover for Chapter 2 is a new cover, so I don't have to print it yet, but we got so many orders that I'm out of inventory. So it's in pre-orders. Y'all will have to wait until February when I do my next print run to get your books. I apologize, but you can pre-order it right now on the website and reserve a copy for yourself, and also pick up like a cool world map or something. This is pretty awesome as well. I have cool shit, guys. I make cool stuff. This is canvas. Canvas. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah. So yeah. And that is all. Thank you all so much for joining us and listening to today's beautiful presentation put together by Ali.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, there's a new cover. Yep, there was. Let me show this off real quick. I am a little proud of it. Wait, I have a cover guide. I showed this last week's stream, but I have a cover guide.
Are you sure you made this website yourself?
I know. Well, I am sure, but I'm also very tired. But I forgot that I have to pin my cover guide. I mean, I already had, I think, on Creative Block, but this is the new cover. It's not quite done. I'm still working on the colors. You can see it's kind of flat, but I'm super proud of how this turned out. It's the permanent covers that are done after the campaign are kind of like more story based. So I'm so proud of this. This took a long time. You guys have no idea how many revisions I went through. But I'll finish coloring this up, and then I'll have the final version up soon. But yeah, this is the permanent market cover for chapter 2. And there's a cover guide. That's really pretty. So go take a look at this. And
I can't wait for my black and white version.
Yeah. It turned out great. This one. Yeah, people really like the black and white covers. So every book will have one of these as a 24-hour variant. That's the plan.
If so there's a black and white version or a vinyl, like, I will probably back your book.
There will always be a black and white version. Actually, I have the covers for all of the books planned for just the black and white series, because they're all going to be of like the black and white variants, because they're all going to be like this diamond design with something in the middle. And I just got on a roll designing all kinds of stuff, because sometimes it's with the first one it was these demons, and the second one it was Ragna. But going forward, I have a whole plan for, like, sometimes it's going to be, I'm not going to spoil it, but they're really cool. I have all these like cool composition ideas for what I can do, and like creatures and characters and stuff from each chapter, and they're all planned out. So every chapter will have a black and white cover just like this, and it'll be the 24-hour campaign cover.
I see what you mean now by people think I'm wearing elf ears because of my pillow.
Yeah, like if it's smaller on the screen, it looks like you have elf ears.
Yeah, no, I'm not wearing elf ears. That's gay as fuck. Mm-hmm. So I know that they're not black and white interiors. I was just gonna say I'm excited to see all of them lined up in their black and white goodness on my shelf.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll take pictures for you, and you can stare at them.
I'll be so happy. I can't. Okay, just seeing book 1 and 2 next to each other when people take pictures of it together, like, you guys don't understand. I feel like I'm looking at my child's kindergarten graduation or something. Like, this project is my entire life. And it just makes me so happy every time I see that. And I have like everything designed out already. I was really annoyed because I had a bunch of like other stuff to do. I was in like a shit mood the other day, and I started designing what I wanted the leather bound editions to look like, because the story is 8 main books, but they're divided into 3 arcs. So I want to do leather bound editions for like every 3 books is a leather bound edition. I might do 2, but I think the story is better broken up into 3. I don't know yet, but I want, like, my dream is like when it's done, I'll have like this like collection of leather bound books, just like the Berserk Deluxe editions, and it'll be in this case, and it'll be all embossed and pretty. And I even have a design for a box to put the leather bound deluxe books in, and the box had like this cool mechanism that's story relevant that I can't spoil yet, but it's really cool. And I can't wait. I want to get to that point. Oh my god, why does drawing take so much time? But anyways, please go back, please go support Fiendish and sign up. You can't back it now, but you can sign up. So my time isn't wasted on this project. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you guys again. You guys are awesome. This is the Ali Renie Show. There's a playlist to the other episodes that we've done in the description, actually. So go check that out. Follow that playlist, and so you don't miss out on any of our shows. You can go back and watch the older shows that we've done, because all these shows are tons of fun. We talk about world building and fantasy, and I'll not go on all kinds of tangents, but it's good fun, as you have seen from today. And the next show will be we do the show every other Friday. So the next show will be Friday after next, and it should be on your channel, correct?
It's going to be on the 22nd, and barring another gulag trip, yes, it should be on my channel.
Okay, let's pray that YouTube, the YouTube bitches don't come out and give Ali a ban again. Bancroft is here. Start over. Oh, okay, let's rehash the entire stream and say everything all over again, just for Bancroft. Chris Stanley for
watch the replay, Bancroft.
That would be a prudent idea. Thank you for the super sticker, Chris Stanley. I appreciate it very much. But yeah, I think that's about it. Hit like, please. Subscribe to both of us. And we will catch you all next time.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Goodbye. Ta-ta. I'm trying to find the outro and I can't. Okay. I think I've had too much coffee. I definitely have. Okay, bye.